get to know your finances on the Money Wake Up Call. Now, here's your host, Dwayne Ellis.
Good day, everybody. My name is Dwayne Ellis, and I'm the founder of the Wealth Syndicate, which is a financial planning firm in Silver Spring, Maryland. And I want to thank everybody for joining me today. Really looking forward to this talk that we're going to talk about today. But for my first timers, this talk is about your money. This is called the Money Wake Up Call. And what these talks and some of the previous ones you may have checked out is really to spark thought about how you use your money. And they're not meant to be advice or anything like that. You have to come to me separately to get what's called advice. I am a fiduciary. I am a financial advisor and planner, and I've been that over a decade, almost 2 decades now. So we can have that conversation. But the idea of these little chats is really just to spark thought. And in that thought, sometimes there's action that happens after the thought. Sometimes there's inaction that happens after the thought too. Sometimes you don't do something that you were planning to do. So whatever the case may be, I think that we really ought to have more open conversations about money from people who actually deal in money. There's a lot of conversations on the internet about money. Very few conversations from people that actually are financial advisors and fiduciaries and have real clients and the like, right? So this is one of those venues where you can have that conversation. So the conversation we're going to talk about tonight is something I've been watching for years. You've been watching it for years. I really should have named it Bitcoin talk. It should be more cryptocurrency talk. That's really what it should be. But we'll use Bitcoin talk. But really, it's more cryptocurrency as a whole. It has become very favorite and famous in the last few years. And I'm not going to tell you that I'm an expert on cryptocurrency because I'm not. But I am a financial advisor, and I do get these questions, and I've gotten them for years from clients, from non-clients, just from people who want to know. And I'm just going to really give you 3 words to think about. I'm not going to tell you pro or con. Is it good? Is it bad? I'm really going to leave that up to your discretion. But I'm going to give you 3 words that I would use if I was talking about other types of investments that I deal with and that I offer. 3 words to kind of think about before you do or before you don't get involved in cryptocurrency. The first word is sentiment. Now, sentiment, a view of or attitude towards a situation or event, an opinion. So anytime you're doing any type of investing, you want to kind of see what's the sentiment, what's the overall opinion about where you're putting your money. Now, when we're talking about cryptocurrency, that opinion has changed drastically. Since the last time I've talked about cryptocurrency, you'd have to go on Facebook, and I think you'd have to go to, I want to say 2019. It wasn't 2020. It may be 2018 or 2019 when I last talked about cryptocurrency. We're now in 2024. So sentiment has changed drastically, really, between the last time I talked about it and today. But you want to be aware of the sentiment. What's the opinion? What's the overall opinion of the investing community when you're talking about cryptocurrency and Bitcoin and the like? It does play a factor. It absolutely plays a factor to me with cryptocurrency because, and if there's a cryptocurrency expert that wants to reach out to me, they can. Sentiment is important because there's not a lot else there, right? People are investing in cryptocurrency and Bitcoin based on not necessarily numbers, not necessarily balance sheets, not necessarily stores or employees or all the other stuff like you would normally do investments on. You would look at factors before you make a determination. Sentiment is a big one when you're talking about cryptocurrency. So you want to be aware of that. You want to be aware of that with any investments that you make. Number 2 word, volatility. Volatility, a tendency to change quickly or unpredictably. Now, since 2018, 19 to 2024, there has been a tremendous amount of volatility when you're talking about Bitcoin, when you're talking about cryptocurrency. And I'm not going to do all the numbers on them. You kind of know if you were there. It was at a high point in those particular areas, 2018, 2019, it was rising. Then 2020, a lot of things hit the wall, but cryptocurrency hit a big wall. And now, as we talk today, it's making a comeback, I guess, that's so. So anytime you make an investment, you have to understand the volatility level of what you're investing in. And this is what I normally say to all clients. You got to make sure that the volatility of the investment matches your volatility, matches your risk tolerance, as we say. So you can't have something that kind of goes up and down daily, weekly, monthly, and you're not an up and down daily, weekly, monthly person, because that's going to cause you a lot of undue stress. And you don't want that if you're that type of person. So volatility is something that, you have to consider, because that is your money going into whatever it's going into. So you have to understand the volatility of every investment you do, in particular cryptocurrency, which from this date has been very, very volatile, quickly changing, unpredictably changing up and down. Last word, transparency. Transparency. Really couldn't find transparency. That kept giving me the little plastic thing we used to do when we were in school. They don't do it anymore, I'm sure, with computers. But transparent, easily detected or understood, obvious. That's kind of a working definition for what we're talking about. So you have to ask yourself the question, is Bitcoin, is Ethereum, is Ripple, all the other cryptocurrencies, is it easily detected and understood? Do we really understand what it is? We know what it functions as, but what is it? What's the nuts and bolts of it? And again, I believe that is super important when you're talking about your money. You have to have a level of transparency in everything that you do when it involves your money. Now, in my normal world, if we're talking about, I don't know, we're talking about a specific bond, if we're talking about stock, we're talking about something like that, then I can do a history on when that stock was started, when that company was started, when that bond was created, what is the municipality, if it's a municipal bond, what's the corporation if it's a corporate bond, who backs the bond, what's their history. A lot of transparency in my work that I like to do so that I make sure that I keep my clients' money as, I don't want to use the word safe. I want to make sure that we make intelligent decisions that's based on them. Cryptocurrency, there's a lot of different narratives to when it started and how it started and what's the nuts and bolts of it. Not easily detected. It's not easily understood, and it's not obvious. the origins of a lot of the cryptocurrency and Bitcoin in general. So those are the three words that came to mind when we're talking about this topic. It's a hot topic. I guess you can note it now in 2024. Maybe I'll talk about it in another 5 years if it's around. So, so that gives me 2029. But maybe things will change. But, I just want everybody to be knowledgeable about what you're doing with your money, because all of it counts to me. And all of it's going to be important as we go through the upcoming days. And seek professional advice with everything that you do, and make sure you have a good foundation. Because if I was to chart cryptocurrency in the level of how you do investments, I'm making a pyramid right here. So in this pyramid, you have the things at the foundation of the pyramid, and then you have the point of the pyramid. I would put cryptocurrency and Bitcoin, that's a top of the pyramid situation. That's something that you invest in after you've done your foundation work. You have your savings in order. You have maybe a bond portfolio, CDs, cash on hand, income producing stocks, maybe some growth stocks. You have other things in place. And at the very point of that pyramid, you might have something like some type of cryptocurrency. You may or may not. It's not anything you start with. You have to make sure that your house has a really, really good foundation. And when I say your house, I mean your financial house. You have to make sure that a lot of that is in order before you even get over there to something that's volatile and not having a lot of transparency. So that is my talk on Bitcoin and cryptocurrency. Thank you all for tuning in, and look forward to talking to you all again. Thank you very much.